Hello and welcome to the Kiwi Advisor Network podcast. I'm the host, Warwick Slow, and today's guest is Nathan Miglani from NZ Mortgages. He is the final of the Top Mortgage Advisor series I was looking to do, and it's a great podcast. Some of the expertise and experiences that he shares on it are fantastic. He's got some great tips in there for new advisors coming through, what it looks like starting a new brand from scratch. He's a very open and honest guy. You can see that through his demeanor and the way he discusses, pretty personal details about his business. But I hope you enjoy this. Remember, you can check it out on Apple or Spotify if you want to consume your podcast that way rather than YouTube. And if you would like to add this as part of your CBD points, remember, this counts towards it, so you can put it into your log. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Nathan, welcome to the CAM podcast.
Thanks, Warwick. Good to be here.
Stoked to have you here. I think there's a lot of history, a lot of experience in those shoulders of yours. And one part that I'm really interested to dive into is you've had a fairly public rebrand. And a lot of advisors often considering that or looking, what does it look like even setting up a new business in terms of branding?
Yeah, look, it's a big job. We sort of underestimated how much of a big job is. Getting a rebrand done when you by yourself is pretty easy. But getting a rebrand done with 22 people, but the whole team did really well. I think the biggest strength we knew exactly what the roadmap looked like. Straight from websites to logos and, your overall marketing. And that's, I believe people often think that's hard, but that's easy because you've got lots of other people doing it. But how you communicate with your own client base, the behavior is still the same. So, yeah, I think the whole team did really well, actually.
And when you plan that out, do you work with an agency that helps design everything for you? How much input do you have into that?
A lot, because that's our own brand. We want to make sure it looks, it talks. The first impression needs to be really strong and needs to be us. So, yeah, it took me a long time to think what brand name I need to go under, and I just couldn't think of anything else apart from NZ Mortgages. Because then, regardless you're writing mortgages in Invercargill or North Shore in Auckland, it's NZ Mortgages. So I wanted to keep things really nice and simple.
I remember my partner works in marketing. I remember she had somebody from Google or one of those search engine agencies come up and they were like, one of the best things you can do for your business is just call it the geographical location where you are.
Yeah. And
whatever services you're providing. So like Christchurch Mortgages, NZ Mortgages. So you've done a great job there.
Yeah, no, it was hard to get this domain name because, someone had it for many, many years and we were just casually talking for a few years. And finally that guy was kind enough to sell it to me. So I really appreciate that.
That's, you almost have the name before you search into the domain name, you go, crap. Was it the same in terms of the company as well? Was that NZ Mortgages? Was it?
No, our parent sort of legal entity is Paramount Mortgages Limited. Because when we were with Loan Market, we used to call Loan Market Paramount. So the legal entity is still exactly the same, but it's just the trading name is NZ Mortgages. And we started insurances too, so that's NZ Insurances.
So your background, I know that you immigrated to New Zealand, you worked in the bank, worked in another brokerage, and then 2017 you started your Loan Market franchise.
Correct, yeah.
So it's been a wee while. I know you've got a few awards like Australasian. Were you top in Australasia in terms of mortgage advisor?
Oh, look, you used to get pretty excited on those numbers and awards, but it's still quite humble to get some of these achievements done. But the thoughts and the feeling now is completely different to what it used to be 3 or 4 years ago. So so I was proud enough to achieve sort of number one in Australasia for Loan Market Group. Can't remember, it was 2022, I think. And was quite pleased to hit my billion and being the youngest in Australasia to do that. So that was quite exciting because I really wanted to get the $1 billion mark. So yeah, it feels great.
The big milestone, isn't it?
It is a big milestone, yeah. But now, you look at your team members hitting some really good numbers and that's quite exciting because you want them to achieve what you've done.
You can see your team's growing and you've got a lot of really top advisors based on that top advisor list coming through. How do you mentor them into the business?
You just got to be real with them. I think you got to show them the hard part of being a mortgage broker first before you start talking about what you can achieve financially or any of the other stuff. A successful broker is only a good broker if he can manage himself or herself really well. When you start writing, 100 million plus, it's all about how you manage your time and how you manage clients' expectations and how quickly you can sort things out rather than just dragging and delaying and we'll get back to you, because a lot of stuff, 80% of our job is just consulting, really. Clients are ringing, shall I buy this property? Even though that's a question for a real estate agent, but you still got to answer that. Yeah, we like to just be real with people and then just get things done as soon as we can, really.
And we've interviewed a couple other the top advisors in the country, and one thing they've got that you don't is they're based in Auckland, where you being based in Christchurch, even though you work all around the country, you're naturally on a bit of a handicap. How do you still compete and get those numbers up there, despite being in an area where average house prices are significantly lower?
Yeah, look, our average loan size is still 425 to 430. Last year, I would have done over 700 clients to just achieve what the volume is. Being in Auckland is always, you've got a lot more public, a lot more people, because population drives everything, drives demand, drives momentum in the market. Christchurch, I think I was lucky enough to be in Christchurch when the mortgage broking was just getting, there was not a lot of competition there. So I guess I did nothing different, but there was not much competition when I started as a mortgage broker. But in Auckland, it's, you've got a lot more competition. Loan sizes are bigger, but yeah. So
it's just working hard.
Yeah, you have to do double the numbers in order to make everything work. But like I said, those numbers, they used to matter a lot, but now it's all about how much of a quality you can do over quantity.
For sure. And I think you've kind of proven yourself in that regard. And I think, do you find that maybe your goals have shifted since you achieved those?
Yeah, I think my values and goals, they've just completely changed over the last couple of years. I'm not writing anymore for myself. I'm writing for the business. So if we have, let's say, 20 leads come in a week, I'll probably pass 19 of the leads to the office and maybe just do one for myself. So my job in the business is I'm writing for my existing clients, because that's super, super important. I don't want my own clients to be passed on to one of the team members, because my relationship is with them. And these guys, they've supported me, they trusted me when I was a one-man band. So I need to look after them for the rest of my life. So if I'm a mortgage broker for the next 10 years, if I've done the clients 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'll keep on doing it myself for as long as I can.
Yeah, I guess you built that trust.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to feel like you're too important for them now.
No. And look, as you grow, sometimes clients' perception is, oh, he's too busy or she's too busy. But reality is, for the clients, they know you, they trust you, they'll always keep working with you. And I quite enjoy that. I really enjoy that.
It's a very people-oriented industry. You've got to like helping people. And
yeah, look, it's one of those industry, Warwick, you don't control product, you don't control pricing, you don't control anything. The only thing you control is your knowledge, and you got to be able to give an answer to the clients on the spot. Nobody cares. Me and you, we can give a kidney to a client. They don't really care. They just care, do I have an approval? What's my interest rate? End of the story. And as long as you keep that in mind, they're here for an approval, they're here for an interest rate. The rest of stuff is all admin job. And I like to be really sweet and short and just to the point, just explain things in a way that they actually understand.
So do you try and, do you book 30-minute meetings with these people and then try and keep it as
my appointment is maximum 30 minutes. And I think you can get a lot done in 30 minutes, especially the interviewers, just to, see what they're up to, what they can and what they can't do. Rest is all admin jobs. Sometimes it needs to be a bit more tricky, especially with property investors, buying different rental, different servicing. But majority of the stuff is pretty nice and straightforward.
I think if you've set that hard 30-minute limit, often you find that you're on a bit of a time limit, so you don't have to have those little whereabouts are you based? Oh, here, my cousin lives there. It's just all those little things, you just straight into it. Can often, that's what clients want anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Look, 70-80% of my own existing clients, we all do by phone and Zoom, Teams. We don't really use Zoom, but 70-80% existing clients is all Teams and phone calls. But sometimes new clients, especially if they're first-time buyers, If they're based in Christchurch, look, I would prefer to see them face to face. But if they're based in Auckland or somewhere else, then yeah, it has to be Teams or phone call. And I think people in Auckland, they are so used to working remotely, which I'm finding pretty nice and easy actually.
And just coming back to like making the transfer over to NZ Mortgages, how do you get the team on side for a move that big? Because some people, I feel like when they look at that, it seems like a big job, and you've almost got to run through some change management to make sure that everybody's happy and the transfer goes smoothly from an internal perspective.
Yeah, it is. It is like I said, it's a massive job. Starting from creating logos to then contacting the provider and then contacting your clients. But I think the biggest thing is you got to ask, why are you actually doing it? Rest, everything falls into place. If you can really sit and ask yourself, of what I'm doing right now, am I going to be really happy in my gut for the next sort of 3 years, 4 years? If the answer is no, then I think you're not a tree, you should move. That's what I really sat down before Christmas last year. And I just wanted to basically just have my own brand and really provide a service that my clients deserve and desire. Team was fully on board. I think it was a bit of a big shock when I, just on our usual Wednesday meeting, I told the whole team that, hey, this is what we are doing, and everyone supported it. Everyone supported, because everyone will say what the next 3 to 5 years will look like. That had a lot of internal growth opportunities for the team. We could make the structure the way we want the structure to be done. We can plan the marketing the way we want to market. We can plan specific areas we want to target. I'm actually really excited now. My own responsibility in the business is to grow a client base in Auckland. So I'm actually in charge on the ground, interviewing clients. I really enjoy that, because then nobody, not a single human being knows who Nathan is in Auckland. And I'm genuinely enjoying this, because then I get to do the stuff that I did in 2016 or 17 to get the business off the ground. It's pretty exciting. Yeah.
And you must have a high level of trust for all of your team to say, great, let's do this. How do you instill that level of trust when you've got a team of 22 staff?
Yeah, look, some of the team members are contracting team members, so we don't have a one set model that we will never get contractors or will never have, so we've got salaried team at mortgage advisors and we've got contracting mortgage advisors, because I believe one size doesn't fit. You got to be flexible in everything. You got to put yourself into the issues. And that's, I think, I feel in a little bit fortunate position that I've done this myself. I used to collect documents, submit this application. I've done this for a good couple of years before, we have a first PA who can start collecting documents on your behalf. So I think you got to be able to show the team, hey, what's in it for them rather than what's in it for you. And just think of how you can help them grow their numbers, because eventually they'll help you grow your numbers too. So I always like to put myself into my team members' shoes. If I'm X, Y, and Z, what will I need to do to make sure A, he or she makes more money? B, what's their career progression look like? So when we did the rebrand, one of my very first team member, he's a contractor to the business. Daniel, he's more like a brother. So we gave him 10% shares in the business, because at the end of the day, loyalty in this business is super, super important. It's actually the most powerful, strength in the business is how loyal the people are. And you got to be able to just hold them really well by, A, are you paying them really well? Because if you're paying Aussie salaries in New Zealand, it's hard to leave. B, if they know that their vision and your vision aligns together, it just makes a lot of sense to work together. So very fortunate to have some really good, loyal people, and we just work together as a team. We hate hierarchy. I hate the word staff and employees. As I think I work for them rather than they work for me. So,
I think you've hit it in a few points there, because I think when there's that high level of trust, people will be loyal to you and they will stick by you, and they're more willing to follow you into battle, so to speak. So
absolutely, and you don't really need to micromanage. At the end of the day, you know what the expectations are, you know what the numbers should look like. If you're not hitting those numbers, what can we do? So,
I remember you saying once, every week you'll have a meeting with the team where you'll sort of just be straight up with each other. If there's anything that's like, needs to be said, you'll say it. Is that something you're still doing?
That's we call this psychological safe meetings, and we do that on Wednesday 9:30. So
that's why you did the Wednesday meeting.
Yep. So Wednesday is a big day for us. Yeah, Wednesday we share everything what we can, and every single person in the office, they can just be open and just tell them that's not right or that's not right. I mean, a few months ago, we all thought, hey, we just can't be operating like this. We need to develop our own system to really communicate with the client, because often 90% questions of the clients are exactly the same. So you got to be able to think, what can I develop or do in my office so I don't get these calls all the time? So, hey, who's a solicitor? Who's the accountant? Who's the building inspection? You got to be able to automate these things and maybe send them 4 emails rather than 1 email, so they don't give you a call and say, hey, what's the building inspector you recommend? So we're trying to do a lot of in-house. We've developed our own system that we automate a lot of things, which I'm really proud of. So this year has been a expensive and big year. Yeah, definitely.
You've also got an app that you've developed too.
Yes, and that's the most underutilized asset I've got in my business at the moment. So I have good plans to make the most of it next year, but we were just working on our priorities. App I actually developed for myself, not for anyone. I developed 3 or 4 years ago, actually, because I was on the go and clients will ring and say, what do you think my mortgage payments will be? And I used to hate telling them, hey, I'll let you know, because I'm driving or I'm somewhere. I thought, what can I do to actually just give them an answer right on the spot? So I originally developed it as all for myself. And then I told the developer, hey, I want all the bank's interest rate. And he said, what? It's a big job. But the whole office now, they're all on the app, and all of our clients, they use the app. Yeah, next year I've got a good plans to just really start promoting the app on a bit more bigger level, because you're going to open homes, you can actually calculate your mortgage payments, check the interest rates. Because I don't believe there's any app in New Zealand that can show you all the interest rates. I don't know, maybe.
We've actually got it in Trail.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, on the client portal, you can see the interest rates, and you can do like loan-term calculators.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't know that though. It happens all the time, eh?
Yeah. But no, it's a really handy tool.
It's like it does. Even if one person does it, there's still like a lot of people out there who don't know about it or utilize it. So if you can use that as a good point of difference, fantastic. It gets the same outcome.
And look, it all comes down to these days marketing. At the end of the day, everything relates to marketing. And as we are sort of growing as a team, we really want to make sure what our 5 years next look like, and that tool is definitely a part of our next 5-year vision that we need to promote.
You almost become a mortgage advice business second, and then a marketing agency first.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we are in business, like I said. You got to be in front of people all the time.
And then, I mean, when you say you're coming up here to come to Auckland on the ground, meeting with people, what does that look like? Are you just like teeing up meetings before you come up here? Or are you knocking on doors?
Mostly no. So knocking on the doors. Yep, that's what I'm heavily doing right now from the last 4 months, contacting agents and contacting accountants. So mostly I'm just contacting people, just cold calling, not sort of cold calling, but in a way that, hey, I can definitely help you. But I'm coming to Auckland to do the loan structures. So all the appointments, everything is done on Teams, but I'm coming to Auckland to do the loan structures, because that's my point of sort of last touch point, and say, hey, look, if you've been happy, could you please recommend me to 3 of your clients or 3 of your friends, family? And that's been working okay. Look, I'm in no rush at all. Used to be in a rush, but I'm in no rush at all.
You seem relaxed.
Yeah, it's mortgages develop. It's a long game. It's not a small game.
Same for the client. It's a very long-term investment.
It is a long-term investment, and like if you rush, then there's just no point. You basically then end up not managing your time. So I'm coming to Auckland. Try to come once a month.
Now, building up a business, it goes through different cycles. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They were talking about how, the first 20 years of your career is to learn. The second 20 years of your career is to earn. And then the last 20 is to give back. And something I can see that you're doing sort of on social media is you're going into schools around Christchurch and you've started an initiative called Money Matters.
Yep.
How did that come about and what does that actually entail?
That actually came from a lot of team members within the business. We've got Taz and Asher. Taz is Samoan, so he's Pacific, and as you know, Pacific and Maori people, the home ownership sort of rate is really low. Like it's less than 1%. And Willie, who contracts to the business from the last almost 4 years, so he's Samoan. So if you go to Willie started Pacific Home First Home Buyers or something like that, and he's becoming really popular in Pacific community. I wanted to do something for Maori community because I'm sort of Indian by birth, but I'm proudly Kiwi by choice. And my kids, Mahi and Manaya, so I named my kids Maori names because this country has given me everything I wanted. And now I'm just looking at what can I do to give this country back. So starting Money Matters is another one of those initiatives. We go to high school, and trust me, it's so much fun walking into assembly after almost 20, 25 years. You've got all the kids. It's so fun. We're just trying to educate them not to borrow anything on credit cards, Afterpay, lay-bys, car finance, because these guys, they are 17. Legal age to borrow money is 18. They all are working part-time. They're going to finish school and get a full-time job. And first thing they do is get a personal loan of 20 grand to buy WRX or Evolution 7 or whatever. And then you start, it's just no fun.
And nobody's telling them.
Nobody's telling them, no. So it actually started with Taz. Taz really wanted to do something for Pacific community. And we thought, hey, we'll probably start that from the school. And again, it's got a good feeling. You're not really getting directly anything out of it because these are not your client. Takes a lot of time, energy to go to a school, plan something, plan the slides, but it gives a lot of satisfaction. And I think you need to be able to find something that gives you satisfaction. And for us, that Money Matters is quite a good campaign.
About giving back.
Correct, yeah.
It's the same, it's more valuable than what I'm doing, but I'm trying to do a similar thing with this industry with this podcast because it's just, we can all grow and we're all going to benefit from it. And spending that time, even though it doesn't necessarily affect the bottom line straight away.
No, it's so important. Mortgage broking is the best and the most worst job in the whole world. It's just how you handle it. It's so important to understand it has a huge earning potential, but it can stuff up your mind in a way that it's hard to recover. So I think what I try to do every day in the business to make sure I keep on communicating with my team members. If we have problems, then the problems are not forever. You got to look at things in a bit more bigger way. If you just don't take anything personally, because people get attached to problems, you just got to be able to detach yourself from the problems. It's problems, but it's not your problem. But again, it's an ever-changing game. Put it this way.
It can be quite a stressful job. How do you not take it home at night, or do you?
It'll be you do feel pretty stressed at times, really full on. And I'm not going to say I don't take it home. You do take it home for sure. I mean, especially in 2020 and 2021, there was madness. I think my busiest week, face-to-face appointment, I think I did 52 appointments in a week, and it was quite a lot. And you just got to be able to, again, delegate stuff in a way that you don't have too much problems coming back. You'll always have issues, but as long as you delegate stuff, you are under control and try to predict a problem before it becomes a problem, then I think you're fine. I'm pretty religious in contacting 10 of my, not high maintenance clients, but 10 of the clients that really needs attention. So you got to be able to do 10 before 10. That's been really helpful for me, which I learned from one of the conferences in loan market many years ago. So 10.
Was it, sorry?
So we went, we used to go to a lot of overseas conference in Aussie, and I think one of the brokers said that he used to contact 10 people before 10 o'clock. Those are your existing high maintenance clients. And if you do that, then it just helps you run the day smoothly. So they're not contacting you, actually contacting them and say, hey, I don't have an answer, hoping to hear back from the bank by Friday. If not, I'll give you a call. Because then after 11 o'clock, these people will start ringing you.
And then when everything starts to compound, and when you have maybe like another unforeseen challenge come through, and then you see that person's name pop up on your phone.
Yeah. So you try to do 10 before 10, just so it's all out of the way. And just really try to manage the expectations.
I heard another one that was similar to that. It was control the morning, control the day.
Yeah, either you run the day or the day runs you.
Yeah.
So it's writing big volume. It all comes down to how you manage your time.
And when you started in 2017, you had your own franchise. Was it just you on your own?
All by myself, yes.
And then how far through that journey until you brought in a support person or maybe another advisor?
After 1 year. So I was lucky enough to be based in Simon Moore's office, who's now with Southern Cross. He used to be one of the best brokers in loan market. He helped me a lot learn structure. So I've actually learned the structure from Simon. Simon was pretty big on structure. And I was big on appointments. So I learned a lot from Simon in terms of how to structure your day and structure from the clients. So I had my first support after 12 months, and that was full-time. And Daniel joined the team before. So Daniel was actually my very first team member, and he used to contract to the business. And both of us, we used to just rent a desk in Lawyers Building. And we were lucky enough to just have office space just under that building. We're still there from the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's it can be a bit of a leap of faith, but I mean, it must be quite a cool feeling now looking at, you got 22 members of your team.
Yeah, it's a big job, but I've invested everything I've earned back in the business. So I've, realized that you can earn more and spend on a lot of other things, but I've invested everything back in the business. At the end of the day, the value in business is your people. If you keep on writing big volume, you don't have good support team, and you don't have good members in the team, it's not really worth it. You'd rather be a one-man band and write 50 million and be happy. But if you want to grow, then you've got to be able to really have a quality team members.
And I know we talked a little bit about the future and what it holds, but you're curious to know, like, imagine you've got a 5-10 year plan. Like, what's going to be on the horizon for you?
You would love to be a household name in New Zealand for mortgages. My dream would be to have a really strong momentum in Auckland for the next sort of 3 years. So definitely my plan, personal, I'm just going to keep working in Auckland. For the next 3 years, that's the biggest plan. It's a big market, huge opportunity, massive.
I think you need to create a catchy jingle like Mike Pero.
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, it all then comes down to got to have a really quality team members. And I'm in, like I said, no rush. I would love to have some good team players in Auckland, but I'm in no rush to get someone on board on a salary or a contracting and then not really be happy. So I'm happy to do the work myself just so I know how things work here. And then we'll definitely look at hiring someone next year.
Fantastic. I think that was the main points I wanted to cover off with you. You've obviously gone through a lot, and you've got a relatively short career, and even your time in New Zealand. Because when did you immigrate?
14 years now. So
amazing.
Yeah, I love the people. I love community. I think it's an awesome place to live, raise your kids. Just really enjoying every time I can.
But well done, man. It's inspiring. So if you're a new mortgage advisor, just come into the industry, fresh-faced, what would your advice be to them?
I think my advice to them would be just contact those people who are ready to buy a home in the next sort of 90 days. You've got to have a 90 days plan. The first plan needs to look like, okay, who are the people I can contact? My friends and family, because they're the people you already know. You know who they are. They know who you are. So first point of contact are all of your friends and family. Secondly, you should contact all the real estate agents around where your office is or where you're based and let them know you're available if they need any help. Thirdly, they must be able to build some strong connections with people who actually refer business right away. I think often people think of spending money on social media or doing a lot of social stuff, but reality is you don't get much quality leads by doing stuff on social media. Social media is great for your branding later down the track, but if you're starting brand new, the first 90 days plan needs to be contact all your family and friends and tell them straight up that you really need referrals straight away. I think that's something we don't really do when you start. You've got a few numbers on the board. You don't really tell people, hey, could you please refer? Could you please refer? I think I did that for a good 18 months, going door to door to construction companies that, hey, look, I'm here. I'll sit in your show home for 10 to 12 on a Saturday. Could you please refer? And that's how you've got to be able to build a lot of momentum.
It can be, I think it's a little bit in the Kiwi psychology. It feels unnatural to ask,
I think you should aim to have at least 10 to 15 mil pre-approval for first 90 days. If you don't have at least 15 mil pre-approval in first 90 days, you've got to be able to just work hard and try to just, get that momentum going.
It's so valuable. And even like when those people come through, it's just being really consistent with, even when you have those deals settle.
Yeah.
Anybody else, consistently asking.
Absolutely.
You're still doing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really get a buzz and joy out of just ringing a building company and just telling them, hey, this is what we can do and this is who we are. That's what we specialize. And everything start to fall into place. I'm really enjoying development space. I've never used to do so many development loans, and now I think I'm getting a really joy out of commercial developments, to the point that the whole office, if they've got a lead, they just pass it on to me, and it's great. So easy loans, but good loans.
And do you think, long term, can you see yourself always doing lending, or do you think you'd just be more of, manager of the business?
I will 100% be doing lending. So there's no way I can solely manage the business myself. I don't really get a buzz out of this. I really enjoy interviewing clients and just really finding a solution, because I've worked really hard building my knowledge, and I think I would love to just refine and tweak and how I can be a bit more productive.
Right.
That's what I'm doing in Auckland at the moment. So I've got 4 more doors to knock.
Well, we should probably wrap it up, maybe, because you've probably got to go to the next appointment.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today.
All good.
So much expertise, your whole journey to where you are today. It's really inspiring. I think a lot of advisors and people listening to this will get value from it. So thanks so much, Nathan Miglani.
No worries, mate. Cheers. Catch you later.